excited to read your book. I remember the episode when it started and following your trials. Could you say something about the redemption of prison? Because a lot of times it's seen as such a negative, and people go away because they're bad people, we shouldn't do anything good for them, and yet you're the living story of what happens with restorative justice.
So the question is asking about redemption in prison. And I actually explore this at some length with some legal philosophers in the book, because I think it's a really important question. Because there's an issue of justice that must be addressed when people have been harmed. And again, I want to caution that prison only catches this much, and if you follow the innocence projects now, what we also know is a huge numbers of people who are in prison for felonies are not guilty and are there because of prosecutorial or police misconduct. So we have to know the system that we're dealing with is extremely flawed. And we can still propose policies that make much better outcomes for people. Every year, it is now, I think, Kay Kahn who introduces it into the Oregon legislature. There is a bill introduced for outside oversight of the prison system, and every year it is defeated. We could support that bill. We could say, let's make this happen. There are many movements that are trying to address the brutality of the carceral state. The other thing that's happening in a lot of prisons is a wiping out of programs. Like, programs are the most humanizing thing that happens. There should be school for everybody. Everybody should get out of prison with earned good time for going to recreation. I'll tell you how well that works if you're talking about helping people develop new patterns and habits in their life. When I was in Framingham, you had to go to rec 22 days out of the month in order to get a day and a half of good time for rec. Can I tell you, if it was the 22nd day, it didn't matter how sick I was. It didn't matter how tired I was. It didn't matter how bored I was. I got up out of that bed and I went and did aerobics, under the leadership of one of the other women in the prison, which is one of the fun things in prison, is that the rec is often led by other women, other prisoners. And so we need to fight for the things that humanize, and we need to recognize that decriminalization of drugs and decriminalization of homelessness are a humanistic foundation for addressing what's going on in prisons. I do really suggest, if you ever have an opportunity, like the prison chaplaincy brought in volunteers, prison education has room for volunteers. Like, there's so much of value that outsiders can contribute just by showing up as human beings, encountering human beings.
Yeah.